Powered by Virginia Radio.
Hello, and thank y'all for joining us here. My name is Big Al. Y'all know me. My podcast is Let Me Say Something. Okay, and this is my favorite segment, and we're going to be doing this every Friday till the end of the year. Okay, which is we're going to talk to community heroes of the 757. And so if you guys know of anybody that feels a community hero, someone that's doing something unselfish, that's helping the children, helping the homeless, helping the senior citizen, whatever they're doing that you feel is beneficial, we want you to let us know. You can contact us at 757-964-9367. Almost forgot the number. 757-964-9367. Okay? And once again, the name is Big Al. I'm the HNIC of the podcast, and I have a bona fide, show enough community hero. His name is Mr. Adrian Cook. Adrian, how you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing today?
Doing great, man. And Adrian is one of our. Well, we're here in Hampton. He's one of our homegrown heroes here in Hampton, and Adrian is representing in charge of the Let Our Voices Empower, and Let Our Voices Empower, and I'm losing my voice. Sorry about this, guys. It's been a long day. I'm sorry. I've been doing a lot of talking. But and so if you can let us know what that means and what it means to you and what the group is about.
So Let Our Voices Empower. First of all, let me say this, right? I don't necessarily consider myself a hero. I'm just paying my debt for what I'm here for.
All right, fair enough.
Right? It's a duty more than it is, and a privilege more than it is something to pat myself on the back for. But Let Our Voices Empower is an acronym for love, and essentially is what it says. Let our voices empower. So when we speak to each other, let's speak to each other with love.
I like that.
Let's speak to each other about empowerment. How can I help you grow? How can I help the youth grow? How can I help this community grow? How can I help this city grow? And eventually, how can we help this nation grow?
And I know you don't consider yourself a hero, but I want to call you one anyway, so I hope you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna call you that because like I said, the value that you're espousing are things that we need and we don't get enough of. You know, we were talking off camera, and I was saying that on the news, I don't hear about the Adrian Cooks, the Ro Holland and people like that. I don't hear about those guys. I hear Cheryl Rose, someone got shot. Norfolk, a kid gets shot. That's all I hear about on the news. And what we're trying to do is let you guys know that there are people out there like Adrian Cook and like others that are doing the right thing, helping their community, helping the young people. Some of them helping the old people, some helping the homeless. There are people out there doing that, and we want to shine a light on that. And that's what this show is about. And this is why it's my favorite segment to do. I just love doing this, meeting people like Adrian, etc. Now, Adrian, you said it's Let Our Voices Empower. Now, this is a group, and I'm assuming what is your target for this group? What is the purpose?
So the purpose is just to bring better outcomes to our youth and young adults, primarily, and their families.
Okay.
So we try to gravitate to the kids who maybe having some challenges but have full potential for real. Right, but just haven't been in a position or environment that kind of grooms that potential.
Okay.
And what we try to do is just to get them to see that, one, we love you. Two, we care. And three, that you can be all that you can be.
Perfect. Lau, can you hear him okay? Okay. Yeah, this is, how did you get started with this?
So I got started in prison. Mm-hmm. So I served in excess a total of 18 and a half years in federal prison.
Okay.
And for me, I was sitting in the prison cell in the USP, and my son had wrote an essay for the Kiwanis Club with his grandfather about the lack of leadership in the African American community.
Wow.
And as I'm reading this essay, it was so profound, I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't lost on me that as he wrote this, the first leader in the African American community for him was supposed to be me.
Right.
And here I am sitting in a federal prison.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get myself together. So I started just truly working on myself to be a better person for myself and my family. And then as time went on and I started to learn different things, I was like, wow, had I known these things, I might have made some different decisions.
Right. Exactly.
And so then my focus kind of pivoted, right? So we started doing this program in prison first.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So we started doing it in prison with 30, 40, 50-year-old men. And if you know anything about 30, 40, 50-year-old men, it's hard to get them to change their perspective on things.
I know a little something about that.
Right. But we was, really getting some headway with some guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had some guys that, looked at us and thought it was a gimmick, and some guys that, man, I don't want to hear that. But we actually had some guys who was taking it serious also.
Right.
And I said, man, wow, if I can change some 30, 40, 50-year-old men perspective, I can take this to the kids, right, who is much more pliable and much more easier to get to, right? And maybe I can stop them from having to go through some of the things that I went through, or some of the things that my partners went through, who are not here today to talk about it because they're deceased,
Exactly.
So that's the gist of the basis of it.
When you were in prison, and what was the name of the program when you were in prison?
Really, we didn't have a name.
Okay, you just got
right.
together.
We just got together. It was unsanctioned. It was me and a guy named Toby Hunter. He was a hedge fund manager out of Durham, North Carolina. Because he owned a certain percentage of the company, he was reliable, even though he hadn't committed any crimes himself that they can, speak of. But he came in and he wanted to help guys.
Okay.
And he came from a more fiscal standpoint, from the economy and the monetary standpoint, and I came from a more social standpoint. And we just started putting it together, man, and then we just started, really going to the education building and doing a class unsanctioned. Sometimes they would tell on us and they would stop us for a little while, and we waited a little while and we
why would he stop
it back up? They would stop us because it wasn't sanctioned. We hadn't went through the proper channel to get it done and all those things. So some people hated on it, and these are inmates, but they would tell on us, you know what I'm saying? And I get it. So, but we would just chill for a while, or maybe do it on the outside, in the yard or whatever, and then we kick-started back up. You know what I'm saying? No, but we was really dedicated to it, and that's what we went for.
Fantastic, man. And now, I gotta say, it's really uplifting when I hear stories like this. You were in prison, and you could have been bitter. You could have gone a whole different way. You didn't. But you changed.
Absolutely,
you changed. Now prison didn't reform you. You reformed yourself.
Right. Rehabilitation starts within.
Exactly. And that's the message I'm assuming you're trying to get out.
Yes. Can prison rehabilitate you? Yes. But you have to want it. And if you want it, then that means you don't have to go to prison to get the reform.
Right.
You can get it right here. Okay. So why go and leverage your freedom and being absent from the people that love you to reform yourself when you can actually get it right here? And that's my approach now. That's my passion.
And this all started because of a very powerful letter that your son wrote.
Absolutely.
I just find that amazing. Now, you to move forward, to fast forward, you get out of prison. That was on your mind. This was on your mind to do.
From day one.
Okay. How did you get started? What did you do?
Learn how to get on Facebook, because when I left, there was no Facebook. When I left, there was no smartphones.
Right.
So I learned how to use smartphone. Got somebody to make me a Facebook account. And I learned how to start using Facebook, and I started looking up people's profile.
Okay.
And if anybody that had anything to do with community, kids, coaching, anything of that nature, I reached out, gave them a brief paragraph of my vision, and if they reached out, great. If they didn't, great.
Okay.
And the first person to really reach out was a school counselor at Bassett Elementary. Her name was Stephanie Lewis. And Stephanie agreed to meet with me. We actually went to school together, but we didn't know each other. Right? I remember her from her face from school, but we didn't know each other. And I reached out to her and inboxed her and gave her a brief description like I did everybody else, and she reached back out. And we met at Barnes & Noble. And I told her my vision. And she was on board from day one.
Fantastic.
And she actually got me my first speaking gig with some kids who were playing basketball at Sims.
Okay.
And I got to speak to them. That was my first real introduction to being able to interact with the kids. And it was a blessing, right? From her through somebody else, I was able to get that speaking gig. And from there, I just kept going, you know. But she was the real one, the real champion who believed in me before anybody else, and gave me that chance. And from there, I just started connecting and relationship building.
Okay. Now, so you let our voices empower. Okay, just move forward a little bit more. Okay, that's your current group right now. Okay, what's your target audience there? What are you looking to do with this particular Let Our Voices Empower group?
Okay, so let me go back just a little bit, if I might be.
Absolutely.
So, after I met her and met some other people, seen a guy by the name of David Wilson.
Okay.
He was out in the community, and he was running and going, you know, in different neighborhoods. And I seen him, and I was like, wow. And he had this group called Good Dad Gang. So I reached out to him, and me and him spoke. And we got up at Barnes & Noble also. And, you know, we talked, and he told me a story, I told him mine. And then what we ended up doing was circling back around. We ended up making a organization called Us for Us.
Us for Us, okay.
Yes, and that was United Soldiers for United Streets.
Okay.
And, you know, we was really just trying to help the kids, mentoring, and what we did was we had some team panels within Hampton and Newport News to give the teams a voice. And in that process, I started really meeting some political officials, right? I started understanding the political landscape much more than what I'd already done. And
now, let me just interject. Were they receptive to you?
Yes.
In the beginning?
Most of them were. There were a few who kind of railed against it. But in their defense, we weren't all together.
Okay.
We didn't have all our ducks in a row. And for some of them, the sentiment that they was trying to send, I understood. Now, I may not agree with their tone. Right? But the sentiment I did kind of understand. I may have took it personal at that moment. But as I sit back and I reflect, I understood where they were coming from. And you don't always have to agree with our tone, right? But one thing I do find ironic is that when we talk about the tone of people, when it ain't what we want to hear, right? But we don't talk about the tones of our rappers.
Don't get me started on that.
Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to reassess. and sit back and say, okay, let me listen to what they're saying and not how they're saying it. Get how they're saying it. Let me get the message so I can get the headway I need in with them, so I can get and make the impact that I'm trying to make in the community. Because that's what it's about. It's not about me and my feelings. It's about the community. It's about these kids and how do we help these kids.
So would I be wrong to say that you had to remove your emotion out of it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And a little bit of ego?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because, anytime you're challenged, anytime somebody's coming at you,
Yeah.
There's an inclination to automatically just want to go back at them, right?
Exactly.
And I had to really, really remove that and fall back and say, you know what? It's not about me. What are they telling me? Because they're telling me something, and I got to listen to what they're telling me, because then that'll get me where I need to be. If I just pay attention and not get too caught up in the emotions and the personal part of it. And too often, that's where we find ourselves, especially in our community, lacking, right? We get caught up in judging the messenger, and we'll never get the message. But if we pay attention to the message, then we'll get what we're looking for.
I totally agree with that. And in your case, so give me a timeline as far as, you're in prison, and then, what is the timeline?
Okay, what, in prison or once I came home?
Once you came home.
Okay, so I came home and I got to the halfway house in Norfolk in September 19th of 2018.
2018, okay.
Yes. Went home to home confinement, got off of all of that December 19th of 2018. And I got right to it, like I told you. I think with I think our first team panel was probably September of 2019.
Okay. September 2019.
Yes.
All right.
And we probably had us for about a year going strong before it kind of simmered down. Some of us started going our own ways. Still kind of doing community stuff, but just kind of finding ourselves and figuring out where we belong in this space. Myself, David Wilson, and Donovan Wright. I always had, my own vision, but I was also willing at that moment to sit back and, allow whatever was going on to go on for the greater good. And eventually I would get my turn. I didn't have to have my turn at that moment.
Okay.
Right? I just put a post up the other day about it doesn't matter who's at the head of the table, as long as I'm eating. And exactly. that's how I really try to carry things and how I look at it. I'm a leader at heart, but to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower first.
Yeah.
Right. We can't innovate everything on our own. Right. We have to have mentors and teachers our own selves, and you have to live. You have to learn. Right. So that's what I did when I came home. Even though I had a vision and curriculum and everything. And I would pitch it to people, but at that moment they had their own stuff going on, and I was just like, okay. And I just sat back and just waited for my time.
But even though you were waiting, you were still moving forward.
Right. Even though I waited, I was active in whatever it was that they had going on, in their vision and their mission. Right?
I got you.
No, I just didn't wait and sit on my hands, right? No. I was full-fledged into what they had going on, be it other community organizations, be it the city. It didn't matter to me, right? So, okay, y'all got something going on. I'm with y'all. I got all hands on deck. I'm 10 toes in. Let's get it, Okay. And eventually my time will come. And then eventually my time came.
Okay. Now, with your time coming, okay, you have Let Our Voices Empower. We were talking earlier about your My Brother's Keeper and My Sister's Keepers mentoring program. But before I get to that one, I want to Let Our Voices Empower. Who is your target for that? What exactly do you all do? Okay, if you can just expand on that just a little bit.
Okay, so I'm gonna give it to you from a business perspective, right?
Please.
Okay, so every business should have a target market, right?
Right.
So let's use Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has their own target market, right? You and I are not in their target market.
No.
It's the young kids. But it doesn't mean that Chick-fil-A are not going to serve you and I if we come there, right or wrong.
That's correct.
So my target market is 13 to 24. but we take them all.
Okay. All right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there's some kids that's 10 that's running around here with guns.
Yeah.
There's some people that's 40 and 50 that's, that's still dealing with some things, right? And I don't want this to look like it's only people that's running around with guns. It's not the case. It's really just hurting people. Right. So what we do is we just try to heal people. That's the gist of it, right? Okay. We have a program. It's called Innovative Solutions. It talks about who you are as a person. So contrary to popular belief, when we talk about the inner city, we talk about the economic part of things, and that does matter. And we talk about, they don't have any activities and nothing to do. That does matter. But the biggest issue that our community has is an identity crisis.
I agree with that.
Right? Who are we?
Right.
You can pull up on anybody and ask them who they are, and they probably won't be able to tell you. And they may have a pocket full of money or a bank account full of money. But you ask them who they are, they'll start stuttering and start getting,
What you mean?
Right. Not understanding, right? And it's okay because I was there.
Yeah.
Right? I had to learn this. And it took me 30 some odd years to learn this. So one of the things that we do is who do you want to be, what do you want to do, and what do you want to have in life? We ask those questions. And most people, they got a lot of halves, right?
Yeah.
And they got quite a few dudes. But when you get to the B part, they don't even have nothing, or they got dudes up there. So
that's interesting.
One of the ways that I give it to you is this. I knew the things that I wanted to have in life, right? So I had to do something to get it. So I was what? Sold drugs.
Right.
Now I call myself a what? Drug dealer.
Right.
So now I made all this money in the drug game. Most people say, well, won't you get out? But I can't, because if I do, who am I?
Okay.
So it doesn't matter how much money I make now.
Right.
I'm not going to get out of this because I identify as a drug dealer now.
Right.
But drug dealer is not who I am. It's only what I do.
Exactly.
But because of society, we're conditioned to identify ourselves with the things that we do or the title that we have. You meet a doctor, you say, hey, how you doing? You say, hey, I'm Dr. Such and Such.
That's exactly.
Right? Great.
Exactly.
But you're really such and such. Because whatever happens if they strip you of the doctor.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying though?
Yeah, I do.
And so it happens on every plane. Don't get me wrong, it's not only in the inner city in the African American community where it happens, that it happens on the other side too, right? You can be in a middle class neighborhood, you find a doctor, and he wants his son to be a doctor, where his son doesn't want to be a doctor, but he goes to do it anyway because he don't want to, make his father mad, right? Well, he becomes a doctor, got the house, got the fence, got the wife, got the kids, but then he's downtown Newport News on Share Road buying crack cocaine to trick with somebody.
Right.
And then you wondering why. Because he's in an identity crisis also, right? He was encouraged and motivated to be something that he wasn't. Where in our community, we do it also, but it doesn't end like that.
Right.
So often in our community, it's ending in us going to prison for a long, long time, or us going into a grave. Yeah. Correct. So that's the first thing that we want to tackle, right? Who you are as a person, right? And as you start to figure that out, everything else will start to come.
I hope you guys are listening to this and listening closely to what Adrian's saying, man. He's dropping some gems here, okay? And I hope he's opening up some eyes, because the way he's looking at this, his perspective on this issue, on this issue, and the way he's attacking it, is something that we can all do. He's not doing anything that no one that you can't do or I can't do. But what he's doing is different. Is he's sticking with it. He's sticking with it. He's sticking with it and learning as he goes. Okay. So for me, this is an education, and I hope for you it is too. Now, the question I had before I came in here was, what's the biggest change in the kids that you see? From back in the day when you were doing it till now, what's the biggest difference in the kids? Because I got my opinion, but I'm not here to give my opinion.
There's no village. See, we want to blame the kids.
Right.
No. Don't get me wrong, they got to be held accountable for their actions.
Right.
But let's be real. We'll hear somebody say, oh, kids having kids, right?
Yeah.
Well, kids been having kids. Let's be real. My grandma was 11, 12 when she had her first child in 1930, 40 something. The difference was there was a big mama around.
I see where you're going with that.
You see what I'm saying?
I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, you know, daddy was around. He might have had some kids somewhere else too, though, but he was still around, right?
Right.
To give the necessary Jews. But now, ain't no big mamas. So, the village ain't there, right? Daddy locked up, or he going on with the next girl and tending to her kids, ain't thinking about his own.
Right.
Mama's overwhelmed. You know, so it's a lot that these kids have to go through. But what we do is, and this is one of the things that I hate. I hated when I was young, and I hate it now. Man, when I was young, when I was your age, what I had to go through, you ain't going through nothing. Right. That's the most insensitive statement that anybody can make. You know, when I was younger, people used to say, well, I had to walk to school. Well, I don't. But that don't mean I don't have no other challenges.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So just because you had to walk to school, that was the challenge that you had at that time. I don't got that challenge, but I got another challenge. Focus on the challenge that I'm going through, and you can help me through it. Exactly. But as long as you not understand that I have a challenge because you worried about the challenge that you went through having to walk to school, and we got buses now, we ain't gonna get nowhere as a society and as a family. So now you hear everybody talking about these youth right now, right? And they want to talk about how bad they is and all the things that they're doing and going through, but they don't want to look at what they're going through. I tell the kids this all the time. Man, I can only imagine going to school with one of these smartphones at the age of 14 years old. I don't know what I would have done and where I would be right now.
I'll be on the phone.
I don't know where I would be. I probably would be beefing with people on social media. Exactly. I would have been taking pictures that I ain't supposed to take that I can get charged of. I know, I'm just being real with you. Right?
I agree. I hear you.
There's so much temptations. There's so much the kids. When you talk about bullying now, it used to be just in your neighborhood and at the school.
Right.
No. Now people in places that you can't even get to.
Cyber.
Right.
Cyberbullying.
But they got to go through that. But guess what we still telling them? You ain't going through nothing.
Yeah, that's not bullying. That's
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So stop telling them what they're not going through, and find out what they are going through. And once you do that, then you can start to help them to get through what they're going through. But we're so caught up in all the things that we went through throughout our lives that we ain't got over yet, that we don't even pay attention to what our kids are going through.
Well, keep in mind now, every generation is always the toughest generation. My funny you should say that, but my father told me saying, well, when I was walking to school, the snow was waist high, blah 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 blah. You crying about a little bit of snow walking. Every generation was tougher than the previous, than the last generation. And we keep pushing that. And I agree with everything that you're saying. That we need to find out what's going on with the kid itself, and with the children themselves, so we can answer that particular issue.
So let me give you
instead of making it about us.
Let me give you a quick analogy of what you just spoke, right? So I'm gonna use it from a sports standpoint, right? The rules are much lenient now in sports, right?
Yes.
And so they'll talk about, well, this era was much tougher. Oh, this person couldn't grow up in this era.
This era all the time.
Well, that ain't true.
Right.
Because you adapt to what your era is. Exactly. What's going on. If you take a small bit of poison, right? And you consume it, and you do it every single day, if somebody try to poison you with that, it won't kill you the way it killed me.
Nah.
Because your body becomes immune to it.
Exactly.
That's what we do with these arrows. We become used to and adapt to what's going on in these eras.
So I just want to make sure I'm following what you're saying, and which is, there's no generation that is this current generation of kids is not any tougher or any worse than any other generation.
No.
It's just they have less leadership.
Right.
Which means there's less accountability.
Right.
Okay.
Go on Facebook, go on social media, right? And you'll see people our age right now beefing with each other.
Yeah.
So if that's going on, how are we going to teach the kids this? Listen, man, I done made a whole lot of mistakes. I ain't here to judge nobody, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
I done done things that you can't even imagine of. I got some people that love me. I got some people that don't like me, and I got some people that hate me, right? I got some good, I got some bad, and I got some ugly in my life, right? But there's no way that we're going to help the kids if we don't start helping ourselves. Right?
Right.
We got to start figuring these things out for ourselves so we can now give it to our children. Man, listen, I've been through the ringer. From growing up, my environment, it was bad. I myself has made a lot of mistakes. I've done some things that I wish I could take back. I've done some things that I did that people don't like, but I did it and it is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? And I ain't tripping about that either, right? But when I deal with these kids or their families, right, one thing I tell them is I ain't judging you, man. Everything that I'm about to tell you and to talk to you about, I probably done it more than you have. I just want you to know that now someone is showing you before it's too late that it could be a detriment to your life.
You mentioned the parents, and you would know this better than I, but from what I've seen, a lot of times the kids are just simply products of the parents and of the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And when you deal with the parents, and I know you say that there's, I know you said from 13 to whatever, so I'm basically thinking there's no age limit.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody wants the knowledge, you can drop it on them.
Absolutely.
Okay. When you deal with these parents, how do you deal with them? How are they accepting what you're saying, or just giving you, or are they just giving you the nod and then go home doing the same thing?
And you get an array of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But most of all, man, I just I make them part of the solution.
Okay. How do you do that?
Because I'll let them know from the jump. If you come to me and say, hey, I want you to talk to my son. Okay. Well, I need you to understand that I need you to invest in your son. I'm going to need him to invest in him. I'm going to invest in him, but I need you to invest in him also. Some of that is going to be to change some of the ways that you are, because what you're going to find out is that some of the ways that you are is causing your child to be the way that they are. And that's not a knock on you. That's not a judgment on you. It's just a matter of fact.
Now, are you saying this to the fathers and the mothers?
I'm saying this to whoever it is, whoever it is that listens.
Gotcha.
Don't matter to me.
Okay.
Right? Okay. But I will say most of it is mothers. Right? Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter. But I make them a part of the solution so it doesn't feel like I'm coming in on a white horse and just trying to, no. That's not what it's about. Because it ain't about me, first and foremost. It's about this child here. So collectively, let's get together with this child and let's build for this child. And any parent worth their weight in gold is inhuman, abnormal to not want to be a good parent. That's abnormal.
I agree.
You can get an arena full of fathers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can say, who wants to be a deadbeat father?
Not one.
Not one person will raise their hand, even the deadbeat fathers.
Exactly.
So that means that it's abnormal to want to be an unfit parent. So once you understand that, that's the part that you encourage. That's the part that you motivate. That part that wants to be a great parent. The problem is people want to talk about them and judge them and make it and point the finger at them and you not doing X, Y, and Z. No, that's not what this is about. This is about empowering them. That's why we say let our voices empower. I want to empower this mother. I want to empower this father. I want to empower this grandparent to help this child. It's about empowerment.
And when you're empowering them, I mean that's a really, really good point. That's a really good point. You know, I got like 15,000 questions. Anyway, but when you're talking to that parent, okay, and I know you say you don't judge, but if you're talking to the parent, you have to judge a little bit to see which way you're going to go with the parent.
Well, what is judge?
You know, are they listening to what you're saying? Are they hearing what you're saying?
Right.
A lot of people listen, but they don't hear.
Right. So in the Bible it says, take the speck out of your own eye. Right. Mm-hmm. Or he without sins cast the first stone. Right. So the first thing I do is I let them know I have sins. Okay. Right? I pluck that out of my eye first.
Gotcha.
And when I do that, it makes me human to them. Okay. Now they see, okay, I'm not coming in here like I'm some perfect individual who don't have issues myself. No, I got issues. These are my issues. This is who I am. I'm a human being just like you are. So we all got issues. Let's work on all these things together. And that's where the non-judgment part comes in. See, the judgment is you're bad. That implies I'm not.
Ah, okay. That's profound. Okay.
So no, I'm not gonna give you that. One of the when I was in prison, I sat and I said, man, dang, how is it that people tried to help me and it didn't work?
Good question.
And I found two profound reasons. One, if you didn't know, if I didn't feel like you went through the things that I've been through, I ain't want to hear nothing you had to say.
Right.
Two, if you didn't know why I was doing what I was doing, you can never give me an alternative. So the first thing I do when I go talk to a parent and or a child, I tell them all the things I've been through.
Just gotta make it. Go ahead.
And when I do that, we can get that part out of the way. Now you understand that I've been through, because trust me, if I lay it out for you, you would know I've been through almost anything that anybody else has been through in some shape, form, or fashion. So we got that out of the way. I also let them know that I've done all this time in prison, that I made some mistakes, and then I had to go and be held accountable for that. All those things allow me to be human. But not only that, I also let them know I got 5 children, right? And sometimes, even though I do this kind of work, sometimes I got to solicit for other people to be the ones who can talk to my kids a little bit here and there. And I got great kids.
Right. No, I understand.
Like, they're not perfect, but, man, they're in college and graduated from college. I have a school teacher. I've been blessed. But I had one son, and I got him a job where I was going. College wasn't for him, so I got him a job where I was working at. But he had never worked anywhere. He had a poor work ethic. I'm talking about piss poor as you can get, right? But I knew that the guy that had hired him, the supervisor, and I got him to be patient. And I'm trying to push my son because I know what the supervisor want for him. But he think I'm trying to be tough on him. So he wants to rail against what I'm trying to tell him. So what I had to do was solicit guys inside the trucks with him, because they lump boxes inside of containers. I had to get the guys that was in the containers with him.
Yeah.
Hey man, y'all tell him X, Y, and Z. It'll come better from them.
Right.
And now he's one of the best workers that they got. But I had to put my pride to the side and let my ego go to understand that it's not me that he don't want. That it's not me as a person that he don't want to listen to. It's just that my position is gonna make him feel a certain kind of way. So I gotta solicit and delegate for other people to do it.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from. I got 4 kids myself, and sometimes when you're talking to your kids, all they hear is wah 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 wah. That's all they hear. So you're right. You got to get someone else to tell them the same exact thing that you just told them, and all of a sudden the light bulb goes off.
Right. But guess what? Just like they hear wah 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 wah, as parents, that's what we hear half the time.
Right.
That's why we don't get nowhere with our children, because they trying to tell you what they need and want, and we don't want to listen. Because so one of the things I tell kids when I go talk to them in front of their parents, though, I said, listen, I don't got the answers for you. You got the answers for you.
Right.
I know you used to somebody telling you what's best for you, and you looking at them, i.e. your mama or your daddy, and you like, you don't even know what's best for you.
So how can you tell me?
Right. I say, so I'm here to tell you, I don't got the answers for you. I don't know what's best for you.
Right.
I know the questions to ask you, and you will give me the answers along with yourself. I don't have the answers. So one of the things that I do is, can pigs fly?
No.
Okay. How can pigs fly? What are you doing right now? What are you doing right now?
I'm thinking about pigs flying, but
right, you're thinking of a way, right?
Yeah.
So guess what? The fact that you're thinking is a plus.
Okay.
But hey, what if we put them on a plane?
Okay.
Is that a pig flying?
That's a pig flying.
Because when you fly from here to LA, you say, I'm going to fly to LA, right?
That's right.
You don't say the plane is going to fly to LA,
Right.
dude. You say, I'm going to fly to LA.
That's right.
So we put the pig on the plane, he flying to LA, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay. And I've got answers, put him in a hot air balloon. I've got genetically create some wings for him. I got all kinds of answers, right?
You're making them, okay.
But watch what just happened. We just took something that said it was impossible Can pigs fly? You said it was impossible, right?
Yep.
I put how in front of it. How can pigs fly? And the word how itself made you start to think of a solution.
That's true.
And even though you didn't come up with one ASAP, right?
Mm-hmm.
I seen that you was thinking of one, and now guess what I did? I started helping you. And the fact that you was thinking of one, you was willing to take my advice and at least listen to the answers that I was giving you. Because now you was in a position where you was conditioned to at least look for solutions. So now when somebody brings you a solution, you willing to listen to the solutions.
Okay.
See, the problem in our community and in society as a whole is that we have a whole lot of problems for solutions. We don't have solutions for problems. That's backwards. But what do you expect?
I love that.
But what do you expect in a country that calls when you park your car a driveway and when you drive at a parkway?
I got 1,000 of those.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Right. So we gotta be willing to find solutions to problems, not problems to every solution.
You know, Adrian, that is you got me. You got me thinking about that. But which begs the question: why do we have more problems than solutions?
Because it's a condition. It's how we've been taught. We've been taught to.
Are we not accepting solutions, or
no? Because when you bring a solution, I'm not used to solutions. I'm used to problems. See, we used to getting together and talking about our problems.
Right.
We ain't used to getting together and talking about the solutions to the problems.
Right. Don't nobody want to hear that.
So when you start talking to me about solutions, it's foreign to me. Mm-hmm. So it ain't right to me.
I got you.
So what we got to do is we got to condition them to see that solutions is normal and should be normal and what you need to empower yourself, not problems.
Got you.
You listen to our music today, right? Oh. It's a bunch of problems.
I was just having a conversation about that a couple days ago, man.
You get with your friends. Y'all talking about the problems y'all got. Mm-hmm. We have to start talking about the solutions to these problems. What you focus on expands. Where your focus goes, energy flows. Have you ever heard somebody say, I don't want to be broke?
Oh, yeah.
They broke, ain't they?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard somebody say, I don't want to be in debt?
Yeah.
They in debt, ain't they?
Seriously.
Right, because you're focusing on broke, you're focusing on debt. Mm-hmm. Focus on the thing that you want in life.
Okay.
Don't make the facts your truth.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Right, so it was a fact that I was hundreds of miles away from my children, but it wasn't my truth. So I was still a father.
Understood.
It may be a fact that you have $0 in your bank account, but that doesn't mean you're broke.
Exactly. One thing that I used to tell my kids all the time is that being poor is a mental condition. Being broke is a temporary condition. If you think you're poor is up here, whereas being broke, that's a temporary condition you can solve at any time.
I got a statement for you. Tell me if it's accurate.
Okay.
Love is denied its fullest expression through poverty.
Say that one more time.
Love is denied its fullest expression through poverty.
Wow. That may be true. It is certainly, yeah.
Let me explain this.
Denied. Okay. That's a deep statement there, Adrian.
Because you have some people say, what you mean? Because I'm poor, I can't love my... No, that's not what I said. No. I said, first of all, I said your fullest expression.
Yeah.
So if me and you love our children the same, right? Mm-hmm. And we have the ability, we love our children the same.
Love them the same.
We can do the same things, right? As far as ourselves.
Yeah.
That don't cost money.
Yeah, it don't cost money.
But now you got money and I don't, and your son says he wants some Jordans. You can buy them Jordans, right? I can't.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I love my child any less than you.
Right.
But both of our children came and asked for Jordans, but I can't express that love to my son today because I don't have the funds, but you have the funds. Mm-hmm. So now I'm denying my fullest expression because I want to get them for him, I just can't. But we love our children the same.
Right.
But you can get yours here, so you go and buy him his Jordan. So you've been showing your children love the same way I have, but now you just expressing it another way. Watch this. I got another one for you.
Bring it on.
My son, I called home. I was in prison. I called home. My son said Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton was running against each other. And so my son said, Dad, you know, who do you support? I said, I support Hillary Clinton. He said, why?
Okay.
So I gave him my reasons. And he said he supported Bernie Sanders. I said, why? He gave me his reasons. Had I been politically poor, I would have not been able to express that love with my son, because him asking me that question and me being able to answer it and me being able to ask him being able to answer it back was a bond for us. It was an expression of love. And if I was politically poor, then we couldn't have that conversation, which means that I would have been denied its fullest expression at that moment, because my son was asking me for some information and I couldn't give him that information because I was politically poor.
Understood. You know, and once again, just make sure I'm following you. Okay. Those types of professional love are there all the time. Okay, you just have to recognize them. Okay, and take advantage of them.
Absolutely.
There. Okay, I got you, man.
And that could go for spiritually poor. My son haven't always believed in God, or he wasn't always a Christian. You know, he was flirting with other things. You know, but being able to have those conversations with him was an expression of my love with him. But if I don't know about Islam, if I don't know about atheism, if I don't know about Judaism, if I don't know about Catholicism and all these different things, then what I am is I'm spiritually poor. So now when my son is asking these questions, I can't bond with him in that way because I don't know.
So basically, what I'm hearing is that when a child or is asking a parent a question or a parent responding to the question, you want to actually answer the question. You want to answer what that question is, the question that's being asked. You don't want to say another one when he said, "Well, why do you support Hillary Clinton? She's a Democrat."
Or because I want. Or because I want to.
Yeah.
No, answer that question with love.
Okay.
Because what your child is doing, your child is trying to bond with you. They're trying to love. They're trying to learn. That's what we're here. Our children are not, contrary to popular belief, they are not our possessions.
Right.
They are human beings just like you and I. We are only here to advise and guide them. So our expression of love is to advise and guide them.
Man, you went deep on me, man. I didn't know you were gonna go this deep. I didn't know he was gonna go this deep, aloud, but he went deep, man. He went deep. I'm loving this, man. I am loving this. And Adrian, one other thing too, man. With the, I want to keep going with things you're doing in the community as well. My brother's keeper, my sister's keepers mentoring program. Tell me about that.
So what happened was I received a grant from the city of Newport News.
Okay.
I work in Hampton and in the city of Newport News, right? In the work that I do. And at the time, I was working actually for the city of Hampton, where I broke a barrier for guys like us. But I also work with kids in Newport News because, as people know, these two cities intersect. And I received the grant. And so what happened was Ms. Bridget Adams and Mr. Michael Nicholas, who runs My Brother Keeper and My Sister's Keepers program, are inside the schools. And they needed some help to be able to get to every high school.
Okay.
So they reached out to the grant awardees to see if anybody wanted to help with them. Okay. And so that's how I got in partnership and in collaboration with them to be able to go and speak and also possibly do some of my programming and their programming inside the schools to help the kids. So it's not my program, it's actually their program, but we're in collaboration together. Not just myself, but other grant awardees and other grassroots organizations are at the table also that's helping out with Troy Catchmore Kids, Cameron Bertrand with VIP counseling services and everything like that. You know, so it's more than just me. But what we're doing is just having a collaborative aspect. What we're trying to do is build that village back.
I hear that. And man, we sure need that village.
We're trying to bring the unity and community.
Love it. Now, so what is next for you? What's next? Where do you want to take this?
That's a loaded question.
Okay.
Short term, I want to be able to hire guys like me because now you got a 2-for-1.
Yeah, I like it. Okay.
Train some guys who come from the same ilk that I come from, and now they grab a young guy and they doing their own groups. So now you've changed not just one life, but 2 lives or several different lives, right? And then slowly but surely, what they'll do is they'll train somebody, and then they'll train somebody. So now you got older guys who haven't really figured out what they want to do in life, who's giving back. But then you got the younger guys who's actually getting it from the older guys, and that's how it's supposed to work. Right. It's supposed to be paid forward.
Right.
Love is supposed to be paid forward. A lot of times what we do is we pay it backwards. That's why I can come home from prison and people got money for me. But my son graduating, ain't nobody gave him a dime.
Right.
So my thing is to get guys and to hire them to pay this forward to the kids. That's the short-term goal. My long-term goal eventually, man, I really think I want to get a building. Okay. And whether we like it or not, there's going to be some kids who are dealing with ADHD and other, situations that a normal school setting may not be for them.
Right.
So how do we allow them to still get the academia that's set forth for us, but do it in a setting that's beneficial for them where they were willing to gravitate to it. Okay. And just to re-educate and change the trajectory of our culture. Right now, our culture is really at a detriment to itself.
We're definitely at a crossroads.
Right?
Definitely at a crossroads.
It's sickening.
And well, as loud as my podcast, we talk about that. I'm not going to bring too much of it now because this is not the podcast for it. But yeah, we are. We're at a crossroads right now where we are. Like you said earlier, we don't know ourselves. We're confused. We flip the script backwards, not forward. It's programs like yours that's going to help that and others. And I'm certainly pulling for you. I'm going to give you one more question, which is your program that you're doing. They are great programs. How do you know when you've been effective?
So in my program, my curriculum, at the end of it, we have what we call a life proposal. Okay. And each kid will have to put together a life proposal. There's 7 steps inside of that life proposal. And some of those steps are term sheet. So the term sheet is, hey, this is what I need from you, and this is why I need it. Whether it be money, hey, I need to hold your car, I need to stay here, mama, rent free for a year. But you're also telling them what is going to be beneficial for you being able to do these things. Then you have your vision statement. You kind of lay it out in a couple of sentences what that looks like, right? And then you have your vision board. Your vision board is just pictures of it, right? So you say you want to be an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. Okay. Does that look like having an office? Yeah, we'll go take a picture of an office. Put it in there. Right. If it's a trucking company, go take a picture of a truck. I don't care. I ain't asking you if it was yours or not. Put it on there. I need you to visualize it. I need you to see what it looks like. Right. Then you have your life plan. Mm-hmm. Your life plan is going to tell me everything that's in this proposal right here. Is going to tell me it detail by detail, detail by detail. Right. Then you have your acknowledgments.
I'm loving this.
And your acknowledgments is going to be, I don't care if you grew the biggest tomato in the city. You got a certificate for it, put it in there. Okay. That means you started something and you finished something. Mm-hmm. I need you to understand that if you start stuff, then you can finish it. And if you can start stuff and you can finish it, you can be successful in life. So whatever it is that you have started and you have finished it and you got something to show for it, put it in there. They won't be able to do that unless they get the first parts of it. So they can say, oh yeah, I got it, I understand,
right.
OG, I understand, OG.
Right.
But that exam right there, that life proposal is going to tell me whether or not they really got it or not. Just like a school system have measurables, to be able to tell you if the students have learned what they learned by SOLs and SATs and exams at the end of the year. Well, guess what? We got a life proposal at the end of this session right here. So you can say all day long, I got it, OG. But I'm going to really know when it's time for the life proposal. Because if you got it, you'll be able to put that life proposal together. If you can't put that life proposal together, then you ain't understand those other parts that we gave you in the front part of it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So basically the success is not on you, it's on them.
No, it's on them.
That's strictly on them.
Everybody
you just give them the tools.
Everybody's success is on them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I just told you that my son catapulted me to do this, right?
Yeah.
But it had to take for me to listen to him and go and do it. We can give them all the motivation they want to.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't act it out, you look at sports, you got a coach. He give you a game plan.
Yeah.
But the players got to go out there and execute the game plan. The coach don't go out there and execute the game plan. I'm a coach. You ask me about life coaching. I'm a life coach. I'm going to give you the game plan based off of what you say you want in life. It's up to you to go and execute it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm just going to be the influencer and the motivator to get you to start executing it.
I got to tell you that. You're certainly a catalyst. That's for doggone sure, man. I'm loving these programs that you got going on here with Let Our Voices Empower and My Brother's Keeper, My Sister's Keeper's mentoring program. I know that's not your program, but you're part of that. Right. You're doing the innovative solutions, which is who you are as a person.
And can I say something real quick?
Just real quick.
I want to say something, man. The city of Hampton and the powers that be in Hampton, man, has really been there. As a grassroots organization, this is not a popular thing to say because we like to feed off of, or they don't want to do nothing for us. Right. But I'm a realist. And I'm going to tell you that the city of Hampton and the city of Newport News, man, is putting their money where their mouth at, man, and really trying to really understand what's going on, man, and putting their money where their mouth at to really change what's going on, man. And I would be remiss if I don't speak to that part, right?
That is
because when they're not, we're going to hold them accountable. So when they are, then we got to go ahead and let it be known that they stepping up to the plate to take, to do what it takes, man, to really give us the resources and things that we need. And nothing is perfect. Of course, there could be better here and there, what I'm saying? No, but overall, man, they really are there, man. And I don't want my people, my community, to take this for granted.
Understood.
The next leadership might not do this.
True that.
We don't know. They may and they may not. Let's take advantage of what we got. Don't allow them to say, well, we gave X, Y, and Z, but ain't nothing come from it.
Right.
No. If they willing to get the resources out, they willing to get the money out, they willing to get the programs out, they willing to do all this, then we're going to have to solidify ourselves, man, and step up to the plate, man, and receive it the way we're supposed to receive it, but not just receive it, but utilize it in the way that it needs to be utilized. You understand what I'm saying? No, because I'm going to tell you this, when they ain't doing it, I'm going to hold them accountable.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? No, but it's going to take us. They can give us every resource they want, but it's going to take us, the community itself, to change what we change. We just need their resources. After that, they get out of our way. We got it.
All right. Hey, listen, folks. First of all, let's just give the city of Hampton, the city of Newport News, kudos. Give them their due because they're the ones that are helping get this done. Okay. And I got to tell you, this is why I do this show. Meeting people like Adrian Cook, meeting and others that have been on the show and others that are going to be on the show. We have to hold ourselves accountable for our community. We can't let somebody else outside the community come in and take over the community and tell us what we need to do. Okay, they can help, they can assist, but it's our job, it's our responsibility to take care of our own. And Adrian, I'm going to let you have the last word, my friend. Whatever you want to say, you go for it. And after you do that, Lyle's going to play my music.
There's a lot of people that came before me, and they didn't necessarily get the benefit off of the resources that we're seeing now. One in very, very particular is Latanya up is dancing with Abu Unity. It's her organization, but it's more like her, and they fought for us to get these resources. But by the time the resources came, it was kind of burnt out. Wow. Right? So I want to take this time to salute people who came before me, because I may be getting what some people may consider the glory and the fame and the pats on the backs and call the community heroes and the funding, right? But it's people, man, that was really out here, man, in these streets, man, 10 toes down for real, man. Long before I came back here, man. Actually, truthfully, trying to fix some of the spoils that I put out here. You understand what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
And I would be remiss, man, not to speak to those people, man, who's been out here doing this long before I ever got here, man, and have really put their heart and their soul into these communities from Hampton to Newport News and fought the legislation that I just talked about, who wasn't trying to see us get these things, right? And they fought these people tooth and nail to get it. You understand what I'm saying, though? And there's some more leadership coming to Newport News and Hampton, possibly. That's just how it goes. But man, there's some real heroes out here, man, that you don't know nothing about. You understand what I'm saying, though? It's guys like Mike Monroe and Terrain Richardson and other guys, man, that helped me out, right? They don't get the glory. They actually pat me on the back too, but some of the stuff I can't even do if it wasn't for these kind of guys. You understand what I'm saying, though?
I understand.
Sharika, and I can keep on going, right? But there's people behind this engine that is Let Our Voices Empower, right? There is people behind Catch More Kids that's behind the scenes that don't necessarily get all of the accolades that we get and the claps in the hands and
Exactly.
showing that the funding is coming. So I just want to give a shout out to anybody who has helped us out, and anybody who, hey man, if you're just a father to your own child, you're a community hero.
That's true. That's true.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's true.
If you're a mother
That's true.
to your child, then you're a community hero.
You got that
You
right.
understand what I'm saying?
You got
So
that
let's
right.
clap it
You
up
got
for
that
them.
right. You
And
got
with
that
that,
right.
man, thank you.
And Adrian Cook, thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure, my brother.
Right.
Now look at the other hand.
Okay.
Do it like that. There we go. It's been a pleasure, man. Listen, y'all. We got to take care of our own community. That's what this is all about. Okay, we have this is the community heroes. This is our reluctant hero to my left here, but he still won. Okay, whether you admits it or not, I'm going to call him that. And for all the shoulders that he has stood on top of to get to where he is right now, thank you. We thank you for that. We thank you for paving the way. We thank you for doing what you're doing, for making this happen, and we want to go even further. Okay, so I want to thank everyone out there that's working with the community, everyone out there that's the unsung heroes, the people that are unmentioned. We haven't forgotten about you. We just don't know your names. That's all, because we do care about you. So if you all know of anyone that's going to be that's a community hero, anyone that's doing anything that's for the community, let us know. You can dial us here at 757-964-9367. You can hit me up on Facebook, Alton Beckett. You can go to my email address, which is which one I want to give, wiseowl.a as in apple, b as in butter 1999 at Yahoo. Okay, let us know what's going on out there in the community, because if we don't hear about it on TV, we just don't know. All righty. Listen, again, Adrian Cook, thank you so much for coming, man. This has been a blast for me. Loud my music, and we're out of here, guys.